Hey everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, we're diving into a story filled with love, choices, and quiet strength, where a simple white shirt becomes a symbol of a woman's unshakable faith in the man she loves. But what happens when family pressure and whispers of another woman threaten to tear that love apart? Stay tuned to find out. And if you enjoy this kind of heartfelt storytelling, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss our next video. The first light of dawn crept through the wooden slats of Tuna's small home, painting the yard in a soft golden hue. The dew still clung to the grass, and the faint scent of earth mixed with the chirping of birds. With a broom in her hand, Tuna moved slowly across the yard, her motion steady, but her thoughts far away. Sweat dotted her forehead, not just from the effort, but from the weight of everything resting on her heart. Every sound, the clucking of chickens, the low grunt of pigs, the whisper of the wind through the trees, was a reminder that another long day had begun. But despite the fatigue that pressed on her shoulders, one image stayed bright in her mind: Alex's smile. It had the power to chase away every ounce of tiredness, every drop of doubt. Inside the small kitchen, the rice cooker hissed softly, filling the air with the scent of steamed grains. As Tuna stirred the pot, her movements carried quiet rhythm and unspoken emotion. Every slice of vegetable, every pinch of salt was like a promise, a silent vow to love Alex through everything. Her mind wandered to the man who had changed everything. His laughter, his patience, the way he looked at her as if the world made sense again. But beneath that warmth, fear lingered. She was just a single mother. Could she really keep his heart when others, more suitable, surrounded him? Still, she refused to let fear win. Wiping her brow, she looked out toward the morning sky. The light kissed her face, soft, strong, and resolute. "I'll protect what's mine," she whispered under her breath, her hand tightening around the broom handle. Every sweep of that broom wasn't just cleaning. It was an act of defiance, a promise to stand firm against whatever came. Whether it was gossip, judgment, or someone like May trying to step between them, Tuna would not back down. The wind carried the scent of wildflowers from the edge of the field, and she took a deep breath. In her heart, love burned steady and unyielding, fragile yet fierce. She wasn't just sweeping a yard, she was clearing space for the life she wanted with Alex, for the family she hoped to protect. Inside the modest house nearby, Alex sat on a wooden chair, his phone pressed to his ear. Morning light slanted through the window, casting stripes across his thoughtful face. His voice was calm, steady, professional, discussing work arrangements for May, his assistant. But behind that calm exterior, his heart was anything but settled. A knock sounded on the door before it opened without waiting. His mother stepped in, composed, deliberate, her presence filling the room with quiet authority. "Alex," she began, her tone carrying that familiar mix of affection and command. "You should think about your future. May is a good girl." Her words fell like cold drops of rain on his warmth. He looked up, searching her face, trying to read her intentions. He knew she meant well, but every mention of May carried the same pressure. Marry her, settle down, make the family proud. He managed a small nod, the kind meant to end the conversation without agreeing to it. "I'll think about it," he said softly. But in his mind, there was no space for anyone but Tuna. Still, duty was duty. Later that morning, he made his way to May's house, a quiet residence near the edge of the village. The door opened to reveal May's mother, her smile wide and hopeful. "Alex, come in. I told May you'd visit today," she said warmly, her eyes shining with unspoken expectations. He stepped inside, greeted by the comforting scent of tea and wood. The conversation started easily, polite words about work and weather, but slowly shifted to the topic that weighed on him most. "You and May make a good pair," the woman said, her tone almost playful, but her gaze steady. Alex smiled politely, sipping his tea. "May is talented," he replied gently. "I'll do my best to help her improve in her work." What he didn't say, what he couldn't, was that his heart already belonged elsewhere. He could feel the invisible tug of Tuna's presence even now, like a compass guiding him home. May soon appeared, her eyes lighting up at the sight of him. She greeted him shyly, a small smile forming. Alex returned it, though his thoughts were distant. As they stepped out together toward the cassava fields, each step felt heavier, not because of May, but because of how easily others could misread this simple act. To him, this was work, mentorship. To others, it was something more, and that misunderstanding was a risk he couldn't ignore. The air in the cassava fields was thick with sunlight and the scent of fresh soil. Miss Lan, the experienced grower, waved from a distance as they approached. Alex introduced May, explaining she would be learning the process from start to finish. A soft breeze rippled through the green leaves, carrying a strange tension with it. From the corner of his eye, Alex noticed May's mother watching nearby, her expression filled with silent hope. And just like that, the pressure returned. Not spoken, but deeply felt. Miss Lan nodded with approval, promising to guide May through each stage of cultivation. But Alex barely heard. His mind was filled with Tuna, her quiet strength, her laughter, the way she looked at him as if he were more than the role he played in the world. He glanced at May, noticing how nervous she seemed. Her fingers twisted together, her eyes wide with determination. "You'll do fine," he told her gently, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. But even as he spoke, a quiet dread rose within him. What if Tuna heard about this meeting? What if she thought he'd chosen someone else? The mere thought made his stomach twist. He knew he couldn't let misunderstanding grow between them. Not now. Not when every moment with her meant everything. As he turned to leave, sunlight washed over his face, warm but almost blinding. He looked back one last time, watching May talk to Ms. Lan, and felt a pang of guilt mixed with gratitude. She deserved a chance, but not at the cost of the woman he loved. His fists tightened as he walked down the dirt path, dust rising around his shoes. "I won't let anyone come between us," he muttered under his breath, his jaw set in quiet resolve. Each step homeward was more than just distance. It was a vow, a promise that no matter what his family or society expected, his heart would remain loyal to Tuna, the woman who had brought peace to his restless world. The fields behind him shimmered in the sun, a landscape of green and gold. Yet, in his mind, they became a battlefield, one between duty and love, expectation and truth. And as the wind whispered through the leaves, Alex knew this was only the beginning of a storm that would test everything he held dear. The village market pulsed with life that afternoon, merchants calling out, children chasing one another between stalls, and the rich scent of fruit, herbs, and freshly baked bread floating through the air. Tuna walked among them, a small woven bag slung over her shoulder, her steps brisk yet thoughtful. The chatter around her faded into a distant hum. Her mind was somewhere else entirely, on Alex. Rumors had spread, whispers carried on careless tongues, about him, about May. Tuna told herself not to listen, that love should come with trust, not suspicion. But her heart, tender and bruised from past hurt, trembled with unease. She needed to see him. She needed to remind both herself and the world who he belonged to. She paused by a clothing stall where shirts of every color fluttered like flags in the gentle breeze. Her fingers brushed against the fabric, feeling the softness, the texture, imagining how one might look on him. Blue? No, too ordinary. Then her eyes fell on a crisp white-collared shirt. Simple, clean, elegant. She smiled faintly. That was it. As she lifted it up, the vendor grinned. A gift for someone special? Tuna's cheeks warmed. Yes, she admitted softly, tracing the stitching along the edge. For someone who means a lot. The vendor nodded knowingly. Then you've chosen well. Tuna placed her coins on the counter, money earned through long, tiring days. Each coin was a fragment of her effort, her sacrifice, but she handed them over without hesitation. Love, she thought, wasn't measured in price, but in purpose. As the vendor wrapped the shirt, she stood still, her gaze drifting toward the sky, her heart caught between hope and fear. Alex's mother might never approve. May might never stop trying, but none of that mattered right now. She loved him, and she would show it in the only way she knew how. Clutching the small paper-wrapped parcel, Tuna moved through the market crowd with quiet determination. The chatter, the bartering, the laughter, all faded behind her as sunlight poured down, painting her in shades of gold. Each step was steady, as if the ground itself encouraged her onward. By the time she reached the small farm, the sky was already shifting toward the warm glow of evening. The familiar sight of Alex bending over a pile of equipment filled her chest with warmth. His sleeves were rolled up, hands dusty, hair tousled from the wind. Not the CEO everyone saw in the city, just Alex, the man she loved, the man who somehow made this modest life feel like home. Henry was on a blanket nearby, gurgling softly, his little hands reaching for the sunlight. Tuna scooped him up, pressing a kiss to his forehead before turning toward Alex. "Long day?" she asked gently. He looked up, the corners of his mouth curving into a tired but genuine smile. "Every day's long lately," he said, brushing dirt off his hands. "But seeing you, that makes it worth it." She laughed softly, her heart fluttering. "Then maybe this will make it better." From her bag, she pulled out the wrapped shirt and held it out to him. Alex blinked, momentarily caught off guard. "What's this?" "Just something I saw at the market," she said, her voice shy but filled with affection. "I thought it might suit you." As he unwrapped it, the paper crackled softly in the fading light. His fingers trembled slightly when the white fabric came into view. He ran his hand over it, speechless for a moment. "You bought this for me?" She nodded. "Do you like it?" He looked up, eyes glistening. "Like it?" "Tuna, this is the first gift anyone's ever given me that feels like home." Her lips parted slightly, a smile breaking through. But before she could reply, Alex's expression shifted, the smile fading into something heavier. He sighed and sat down, motioning for her to join him. "There's something I need to tell you," he began. The tone of his voice made her heart tighten. She sat beside him, clutching Henry close, waiting. "My mother," he said slowly, "and May's mother, they've been talking again. They think it would be best if I married May." Tuna's breath caught. The words hit like cold rain, slicing through her warmth. For a moment, she couldn't speak. She forced herself to meet his eyes. "And you?" He reached for her hand. "I told them no. I told them my heart already belongs to someone else. But you know how they are. They don't stop easily." Her fingers trembled in his. She tried to smile but couldn't quite manage it. "People will talk," she whispered. "They'll twist everything." "I don't care," he said firmly. "Let them talk. What matters is you and Henry." The way he said their names, the quiet certainty in his voice, melted something inside her. Tears welled in her eyes, not of sadness, but of something deeper. The ache of being seen, understood, loved despite everything. She leaned her head against his shoulder, the warmth of his skin, the steady rhythm of his breathing. For a moment, it felt like the rest of the world had fallen away. The scent of cooking rice drifted in from the kitchen. They moved together to prepare dinner, laughter returning in small bursts. Alex stirred the pot while Tuna chopped vegetables, their movements flowing in wordless harmony. Henry slept nearby, his tiny chest rising and falling in peaceful rhythm. The flicker of the fire cast golden light across the room. It danced over Alex's face, over Tuna's smile, painting them in the soft hues of an evening they'd both remember. At one point, Alex paused, watching her quietly. "You know," he said softly, "when I'm here with you, I forget everything else. The noise, the pressure, the expectations. It's like the world finally makes sense." Tuna looked up, her eyes searching his. "Then stay in this world," she whispered. "Don't let them take it from you." He reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. "I won't. I promise." But deep inside, both of them knew promises alone couldn't stop the storm that was coming. As the sky outside turned from gold to deep indigo, they sat together in the quiet, sharing a simple meal. Every glance, every touch carried an unspoken message of love, fear, hope, and defiance. When dinner ended, Tuna tucked Henry into his cradle, humming softly. She turned to find Alex still watching her, his gaze steady, filled with something between love and worry. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "don't doubt me. Not ever." She stepped closer, her fingers brushing his arm. "I never will," she whispered. "But promise me something, that no matter what they say, you won't let me go." He nodded, pulling her into his arms. "Never." Outside, the night deepened, wrapping the small house in stillness. The stars glimmered faintly through the open window, their light falling across the room where love battled against fear. And though both knew that tomorrow might bring new whispers, new pressure, and new threats, in that moment, they held on to what truly mattered. A love strong enough to stand against the world. In the cradle, Henry stirred and sighed softly, as if sensing the unspoken promise filling the air, that no matter what shadows came, his parents would face them together. The firelight dimmed, but the warmth between them burned bright, a quiet, steadfast flame, unyielding in the face of doubt and eternal in its simplicity. In a quiet village, Tuna begins her day with determination, her heart devoted to Alex, a man torn between love and family expectations. While Alex faces pressure from his mother to marry May, his heart remains loyal to Tuna, the woman who brings him peace. As gossip spreads, Tuna's fear grows, yet she chooses to show her love through a simple, heartfelt gift: a white shirt. When Alex receives it, emotions overflow, but reality soon intrudes with talk of arranged marriage and judgment. Together, they share an evening filled with warmth, laughter, and quiet promises, knowing their love will be tested by the world around them. It's a story of courage, loyalty, and the power of love that refuses to surrender, even when every force